Hello, and welcome to the New Zealand guide for single player slash multiplayer. If you like this type of content, go ahead, press that like button, and then press the subscribe if you want to keep these guides in your inbox. Otherwise, we're going to basically do an overview first, and then we'll go into three separate builds. The three separate builds are basically strat bombers, subs, and then a very specific marine slash army build. There's a little play there, but those are the three builds mainly. So with that, we're going to go to an overview. Okay, so an overview for New Zealand. Let's just go through it right now. You have very high stability and decent war support. You have no manpower and you have no factories. So, yeah. Basically, New Zealand is if you're playing an MP, New Zealand is the country that you get assigned if they don't trust you or you're a new player and you can't mess up that badly as New Zealand. Basically, is what they give you. Nobody that plays majors wants to play New Zealand. It's trash because you literally can't do anything useful. Well, you can, but everybody that plays a major power is going to play major power. They don't like playing minors. And if they have to play a minor, they're going to play Australia or Canada or something like that, not New Zealand. New Zealand's a newer player kind of thing. And very highly technical people that, I don't know, like pain. So we're just going to start off. You can get to partial mob, which is very good. And you want to try and do that. You have very bad political advisors. Literally all of them are trash. You don't have any non-core manpower. It doesn't matter. You technically do. Technically, you have this island over here. This island has a population of 123,000, so it doesn't even matter. So yeah, getting 2% more for the Prince of Terror, worthless. If you know what you're doing here, you can possibly use this to your advantage, but yeah, I'm not going into that. These are just to flip your country and a spy agency. So all your you don't even get a political power advisor. So there's that. Congratulations. You have some tank advisors for whatever good they're worth. You don't have the rating designer, which is bad. So you're going to have to pick up a specific one if you want to raid with subs. You do get strategic bombers right here. Again, very useful for them. You get an infantry designer, whatever. It doesn't matter. You get the industrial concern. You don't have any very good theorists. You literally have the basics. So you either go military or navy or air. Either one you want to do. So for your staff, you got these four, which you basically get to pick three. Don't pick defense. Don't need defense if you're making an army unit. Pick the maneuver, morale, and offense because you're not going to be defending anything with New Zealand. You're going to be attacking. And if I was going to be attacking, either if I have tanks, speed, or if I need to break something with like shock troops, I'm going to use this one, and then this one's okay, but kind of worthless. Out of these, you pick this one because it increases your speed, and speed reduces the chance you get hit, which is better, and that's what you pick. And then out of here, there's the naval targeting, and there's the air superiority. Both don't matter because you're going to build strats if you're using this. And then you get 3 chiefs of staff, okay? 3 chiefs of staff for the AA is nice, but you're not building them. Cavalry is not useful. Paratroopers if you want to meme. And then the organization. So there you go. All your political advisors and laws done. If we go to your decisions, you can approve that, and you can't do this in MP, so it doesn't matter. Do you need to intel agencies New Zealand? No. In an MP game, if they don't allow the memeing of... Basically, what I'm trying to get at here is, if they don't allow the memeing of you lowering your stability, you don't need an intel agency because Russia will come over to there and steal your tech or whatever you're going to do that in MP games. It's a thing. Diplomacy doesn't matter. You have 2 research slots. Terrible. Literally trash. So, let's just start trying to make our economy improve. Construction. Try and build a civ. You have 3. You basically have nothing. You have 1 military factory and no dockyards. You're in a terrible position. You have 3 divisions. Okay? Your generals are actually not that bad. You have 1 invader, which is basically you use marines here. That's it. Yeah. So now we're just going to go over, since we've gone over all the political stuff, we've gone over whether you need an intel agency or not, which is basically no, unless you want to be a spy master for everybody, which is a valid option. Your research is trash. Your diplomacy doesn't matter. Your trade is you don't have any. You literally don't have anything. Construction is trash. Your production is trash. You don't have barely any units. Your logistics is bad. And your officer corps is half okay, but not really. So yeah. Okay, now we're going to go into national focuses. Cool. Your national focuses. We're just going to start left to right. We're going to completely ignore this because this is not related to MP. And that's what this is. And this is a single player / MP historical kind of build, right? So first labor government. You're going to have to take it anyway. So we're just going to go down here on the left side before we go over here. The Rantan Alliance, okay? You have to take it. Don't have a choice. You have to take Social Security and you have to take the Mori Act. Again, don't really need a choice here. Manpower Act. Again, you need to take it. Now here's your really first choice is, do you want more manpower or do you want factory slots? Okay? The choice here is, do you build strategic bombers and subs, or are you building an army? If you're building an army, you're going to need the manpower. If you're building strategic bombers or subs, you're going to need the factory slots. Trust me, you'll need it. The strength in the Commonwealth is okay. This is trash because you can't use it. This is trash because it does not matter, but the 5% political population is fine, but you're not going to waste 70 days on it. This is an okay bonus, but again, you have to take all of these focuses, and you're not going to do that in an MP game. You're going to take this one, and that is it, if you even take this one. If you're going to build subs, you're going to take the New Zealand, the form the RNZN. You don't need the coastal defense, it's completely worthless. You don't need the naval aircraft, it's completely worthless. You need to get this one, you need to go down to sub effort, and then you stop there. All of these other ones are trash because you don't have the production to do or build or do anything with them. So these three are trash. Sub effort is where you stop. Don't get coastal, don't get defend our home. If you're going to do strategic bombing, you have to take the NZPAF. You take the airbase. You get the bomber focus right here, and you go heavy bombers. That's it. These are worthless. Don't take these. You don't have the manpower to even try to do that. You have this. So yeah, you can get 1944 bombers, strategic bombing, which is what you can do there. You have to take these to get your stuff done. So you have to take all three of these. Doesn't really matter. To take this. This is a very good one. You need to get it. You need to rush this research slot because you can in the beginning, and then you're going to have to wait on this one. You're going to have to go down these. Project Seal is a meme, and this one is useful if you are independent, but good luck trying to get there. So then army reforms. This whole side right here is trash. Legitimately trash. Basic light tanks, worthless. This core defense on territory, worthless. All of this worthless. This worthless. This worthless. This worthless. Okay? All of these are worthless focuses. Don't take them. Not in an MP game. It's worthless. Take a continuous focus at that point. Army reform you have to take if you want to build a marine units. This is useful if you want to get the 39 infantry. So what you do there, you research this, then you apply the 100% bonus here and get the gun if you need it. Domestic arms is okay, and then your marines. This is what you need here, okay? Now, that's where you stop. It just depends on which thing you're going to focus on, and we'll go into them in their specific areas. So like the Navy side, the strategic bomber side, and the Marines will have a specific focus tree chart you need to follow for each one of them, but I just told you the basics of everything you need to get. So ignore this side, I did the whole thing, the shebang with this. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the how to build the Navy section. So here's one last thing you can do as New Zealand to get your war support up, which all allied miners usually try and do in the beginning of the game, is you basically, I'm going to give myself XP, but if you have a Navy, you can train it. And I showed you there's a way to get a Navy in the Navy section. But basically, you're going to get this heavy cruiser battery, and you're going to make the ship as trimmed down as physically possible. Whatever, this is as cheap as you can make it, okay? Now you have a CA, okay? You build this CA, and if it will let me, I'm going to delete a few of these divisions, they're not needed. Okay, it's done, right? Now we have a CA. Now we can make it a pride of a fleet. If we do so, you can see our war support is at 30. Now it's at 35. Wow. This helps you get laws if you need it. If your war support drops for some reason, or you're dropping because a player is messing with you. This is how you get your war support up. Very simply. And all allied miners pretty much do this in the beginning of the game if they don't have a pride of the fleet. So, now on to the Navy section. Okay, so the New Zealand build to do sub spamming, which is what you have to do if you want to play any kind of build for Navy, is you first get these 2 cell models. Okay, now it's going to take you 261 days to do so, and the reason we're spamming these 2 is because in our focus tree we get a 2-year bonus off and a 100% research bonus. Okay, so we're going to use that on the 1940, which is this one, right? And we're going to do it in 1938. So to do that, we need to research the sub immediately. Now, all these other texts, this one, literally none of these matter. None of these texts here matter. You're not going to be using them, so don't even bother. Your Navy tech, you need to increase your sub, and you need to increase your magnetic detectors, okay? And these 2 techs. And then if you really want to, these don't matter. These also don't matter. Mine warfare, these don't matter. Mine lane tubes, very useful. These are useful if you want to mess with people and deploy mines everywhere. It's kind of hilarious. But yeah, no. Subs, you need the subs, you need the snorkel, you need the snorkels, you need the magnetic detectors, electric torpedoes, homing torpedo, okay? And you can ignore everything else. Here is the one thing you do need to do. Ideally, you would want to get these radars. Now, the reason you do this is because the radars help the subs find targets. It just depends whether you want a snorkel or a radar, but you can go down this one and this side. Because you're not researching any aircraft or anything else, you might as well boost your engineering and your industry. So the final thing, get this tech and then maybe get fuel refining if you need oil, or the USA will lend lease it to you. If the USA is lend leasing it to you, you're fine, don't need to do anything. Get the construction techs if you want the excavation techs, which you don't really need because you don't have anything. Basic machine tools. Now, here's the thing. If you're doing a Navy build, you don't need any you literally need no military factories whatsoever. Don't have any. No point. So if that's the whole thing, you can choose whatever you want here, but I would take dispersed and then go down here and take flexible. But you don't have any military factories because all your military factories will be converted into civilian factories, okay? They're all converted to civilian factories. You don't need to produce anything on your military screen, okay? Because then you're just going to be building stuff on the Navy side. Okay, so now we're going to go to the focus order for this build, okay? I showed you in the overview what you need to take here for your stuff, but basically it's nothing. Pacific for the Raider, for this Navy build, and you need to take the Naval Maneuver Guy for the speed, and your High Command, you don't have anybody, okay? So it's kind of trash. So if we look, we can go back to our focus tree, which is the main thing you need to do here. And we get 5 focuses. Okay, so you get 5 focuses per year, which is 350 days if you're doing the 70s. So what you do, the year is 1936. We nationalize the road board, New Zealand Steel, Bureau of Industry, and you get this research slot, and then you transfer the New Zealand division. Now this you do every single time in the game. The reason being, you need this research slot. They're very, very useful to have. So this is our 5th one. So now the year is 1937. We form the RNZN. We develop the ports, and we get the submarine effort. Okay, so that's 3 of our focuses done. Okay, now what we do with our last 2 is we take the weapon sheep forms and the industrial conscription. Okay, the reason we do that is we're going to convert these mills into civs, and this one lowers our cost. Now, how do we use this submarine effort? I will show you. Now that it has been researched, you can see that there's a 2-year time penalty reduction and it increases our speed by 100. If the year is 1937, you'll get this. And you can get this in like 1938 very, very, very easily. Okay? That's what you use the bonus for on this side. But it's the year 1936, so it's not taking full effect. So now that we've done all these, it is now the year 1938. So in 1938, this is what I would do. I would get the Army reforms, 1 focus. 2 focus, take this one. 3 focuses, take this one. 4 focuses, take this one. And then get this last one as your 5th focus. Okay, now it's the year 1939. And the reason we took this one in 1938 is we can get our 4th research slot. Very, 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 very helpful. So now it's the year 1939. Now we're going to go over to this side, take First Labor Government. Out of these 2 options, you need to take the Rantan Alliance, okay? And then out of these 2, you need to take the building slot, but you can get this later. So 3, the Manpower Act, 4, and if you're building a Navy, you need to take the Amend the Maori Act, 5. Okay, now we're at 5. So now it will be the year 1940. In the year 1940, you take Maori conscription, Social Security Act, and then you can take Strengthen the Commonwealth. Okay, so that is 3 more that have been done. Okay, now it's really up to you. We have 2 more focuses left for this year. I personally would take tank and oil, leave absolutely everything else here alone. 1 more focus for this year. You could go down this line. I don't think I would recommend it. It's completely up to you. But at that point, we go to increase naval production and we leave the focus on. And then that is it. You take no other focuses because they're not needed. Or you get more political powers, whatever you want to do there. All the other focuses you do not need for the submarine build. Okay? Now I'm going to go into the Admiral and the designs you use for the subs. Okay, so the designs for the subs, the Admirals, and everything else you need to know for this section, right? You have 2 designs with the 1940 that you can go for. This is the kill method, which basically you're targeting absolutely everything. So when you're convoy raiding, you have the chance of hitting enemy ships. You can use this one. This will do the maximum torpedo damage. It's also the stealthiest version. However, there's another option. If you want to maximize damage and find enemy ships, you can use the kill one, which is this design. Or if you're just strictly hunting convoys, you can use the cheap convoy hunting method, which is 1 torpedo tube, 1 engine, and a radar to help you actually spot the convoys. The other method of this is if you want them to be a little stealthier, you could take the snorkel. Completely up to you there. The last design is the mine one. This one basically can lay mines anywhere in the world, and they're banned sometimes in MP games. But if they're not, you can use this and mine pretty much any sea zone in the world, and they're very, very hard to spot because of the snorkel. So those are the designs you can use. Your Admirals, on the other hand, are let's just say they're not very good. Your Admirals are Peter Phillips and then Edmund Rupert, whatever, doesn't matter. Out of these 2, pick him because he has more attack damage. That's the only thing I can say that's good about him. The Doctrine that you go down is going to be trade interdiction. In trade interdiction, you can ignore all of these. You can get them if you want to, but they won't help you. You need to take this entire line down here for the subs. That's the only thing, so just this line down here. Trade interdiction, okay? Out of your spirits here, I would take... so for your spirits here, your first one, I would take Convoy Warfare. It gets you the Seawolf XP and the Blockade Runner, all, again, very, very useful to have. This one, you can be tricked into getting this one. Don't get integrated designers. It's a plus 20% on all ship modules and a plus 20% naval research speed overall, which is ridiculous if you want to be doing your Navy stuff. This is what I would do. No need to refit anything, and everything else here is trash. Take Night Fighting. Gives you minus 5% visibility. If you can't be seen, you just escape. So you need to take that. I showed you the Doctrine. The Chief of the Navy, get the dude that makes your ships go faster. And then your High Command, you don't have anybody. You can take him if you really wanted to for your naval XP, but that's it. And then get the Naval Theorist. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the strategic bombing section, or the airway you can use New Zealand. Okay, so strat bombing New Zealand. What you need here, you need to get these laws up as fast as you can. These political advisors are completely useless. You need to take the heavy aircraft company for the strategic bombing. That's the one thing you need from here. And the chief of the Air Force, you don't need, but choose any one of them. Doesn't improve your bombing. And nothing else. That's it. Now we're going to go to the research. So research, you need to go down concentrated because you're making only one type of aircraft for the entire game, and that is strategic bombers. Go down this side, and then do whatever you want here, flexible or streamlined. There's a video on that. You can look at it. Fuel storage, fuel, don't really need Lend-Lease to you, so it's fine. You don't need, you can take this stuff if you want it. It's good because you're not going to spend anything else. You're going to be doing strategic bombers the entire time, so your purchase is to get this started, and then you will use your rest of them. The rest of these will be upgraded by focuses. I'll show you. Navy don't need, artillery don't need, armor don't need, support company don't need, infantry don't need. Okay, now on to the focuses. Okay, so we get 5 focuses per year, so we're just going to do it in the order. We're going to do National Road Board. So this is year 1936, National Road Board. New Zealand Steel, the Bureau of Industry, and then get this research slot. Very valuable to have your third research slot. We have one more focus for this year. We're going to take the sheep farms, okay? So that puts us in the year 1937. 1937, we're going to take industrial conscription, and we're going to take army reform. Then we're going to take the Charlton rifle, the domestic arm production, and the big think, which will put us into the year 1938. 1938, you're going to do it in the following. You're going to take the expand. So this is your 1. Expand right here. This is 2. Form the RNZAF. 3. Bomber focus. 4. Heavy bombers. 5. Okay. Now it is the year 1939. Now we take the First Labor Government, Rantan Alliance, the Maori Act for the building slots, the Manpower Act, and then amend the Maori Affairs. Okay, so that's 5. Now it's the year 1940. With the year 1940, we take the Social Security Act, the Maori conscription, then we're going to take Tarkan oil, and then lastly, we're going to take the Commonwealth, okay? Then, last thing we do is we put this on air production focus and we leave it, okay? There's no reason to take anything else here. These ones are somewhat okay bonuses, but you have to take this focus, and I wouldn't do it. I would just get the air production modifier going. This one way later. You have to be fully independent, which may or may not never happen. And yeah, so those are the focuses that need to be done in that order. Okay, now on to the last, like a little bit of air doctrine kind of thing. Okay, so the last thing is going to be your strap bombers in your production-wise. So when we go to our focus tree, we can see that the bomber focus gives us 1 bonus, and then the strategic bomber gives us another 2. What does this mean? This means when you research this in the beginning of the game, it's your first research slot before anything else, you get this one at the normal time. And then all these 3 are completely at 100% boosted, okay? So we're just going to assume we can get the 1941 in 1939, which is good, and produce it like a madman. Okay, so what are some upgrades we want to put on this bomber? Well, bombing would be very nice. If you want to increase reliability, if you don't, that's up to you. That's one option, is to do massive amounts of bombing. Another option is to increase their range to a ridiculous amount. Either works. You don't need to put engines, it's not that. So yeah, 5 reliability, 5 range, or 5 reliability, 5 bombing. Up to you. Whatever you want to do there. But you literally do nothing but produce this aircraft with all your military factories that you're ever going to build or get. In this build, you build civs and you build mills. That's it. Very simple build here. Okay. Last thing is we're going into the air doctrine command. Either of these guys work, doesn't matter. They're both trash. The Spirit of the Air Force. You take Industrial Liaison because this gives you 15% more aircraft research. After that, you can take whatever your heart desires in here. The Industrial Destruction, if you have a lot of XP lying around, you can switch over to this, and I will show you what's going to happen. So before, it takes a lot of Army XP to do this, right? So as you can see, it dropped it significantly to do this. Now it only takes 118 to upgrade your aircraft. So if you have the XP lying around, you can do that. Otherwise, then we're going to take Strategic Bombing, so 12 Devastation, and whatever you want here. And then we're going to take Strategic Destruction for the Air Doctrine. We're going to go down this side. I'll show you which side to go down. XP. Infrastructure Destruction. Naval Efficiency. Either one of these works. Doesn't really matter. I get air superiority. What is it? XP gain. Multi-altitude flying. Logistical bombing. Now here's your first choice. Britain has the ability, the UK has the ability, not you, to get really good night bombers. You don't. So your 2 options are take a night bombing path or take the daylight bombing path. I go daylight bombing path because you don't have the bonuses the UK does for night bombing. So just take the right side, escort efficiency, bomber defense, mass destruction, and then air superiority. And your doctrine is done. Baba boopy. Okay, now on to the army build guide. Okay, so an army build guide. What this one is going to be is a general explanation of what you need to do with a focus order, okay? It's basically going to show you that you can get mechanized Marines, tanks, or you can build a few divisions of light infantry. Now, let's say we're going to go with the light infantry first, okay? You have 2 research slots, and you don't really have the ability to get a lot of this shit early. It's going to be more of a late thing. So if we wanted to get the Marines, we're going to have to get these Amtraks down here, okay? which means you're going to have to research mobile infantry and then do all of these and research. Yeah. I wouldn't even bother with these Marines. Don't just get the Amtracs and then get the guns. You're going to have to get the support equipment. You're going to, and then you just the artillery. And that's the best you're going to have to hope for. I wouldn't, you don't have the production really to get SPGs for your Marines, so I wouldn't bother. Yeah. And then for the infantry side, you're going to be making a lot of equipment of different kinds. So I would go dispersed and then go down and flexible. So let's just say you're going to make tanks, right? So if you're just going to make tanks, you can choose one of these options. And then you're going to have to stick with it because you're going to have at max like 15 factories producing one tank. You're going to have to research whatever you want here to get the tank you need, okay? And then if you're only researching that and building that one tank, then just go concentrated and get the motorized and the oil and support equipment and the guns from the United States or the UK or whatever you need to do there. Those are basically it. You can do the Amtracs, you can do the tanks, and then if you want to, in theory, you could build a few infantry divisions, but the UK has that covered. So I would just go the Amtracs or the tanks. It's really, really one of those options is the best for your limited amount of factories that you have. Okay, so our political advisors are dog shit. Depending on what you want your tanks to do, just choose one of these guys and maybe a small arms company, an industrial concern. The main problem is you don't have any good high command for any of your abilities right here, right? So it's the best one you have right here is for the chief of the army's offense, but none of your chiefs of staff are good, and your generals aren't that good. The best one you have is an invader. So I would get the Amtracs and make like 4 divisions. I think at best you could probably make 4 divisions, and that's about as much impact as you're going to have. Okay, so that was just a general overview of what you could do. We're going to go to the focuses now. Okay, so the focus order for the army build is generally the same across the board of them. We get 5 focuses per year, so we're going to start 1936. We take the Rational Road Board, which is 1. New Zealand Steel is 2. Bureau of Industry is 3. Department of Scientific Research is 4. And then we get the Farms, which is 5. Okay, now it is the year 1937. We do industrial conscription for the factories. 2 is Army Reform. 3 is the Charlton Rifle. And 4 is the domestic arm production. Now, usually we take the big thing. If you specifically want Marines, you can take this focus. However, the problem with this focus is it's for Marines, which have a special forces cap, and you don't have divisions to get over that cap or the manpower to do any way to get above it by exploiting, but you don't have that. So I would take big think. So 5, okay? Now it is the year 1938. Take your research slot, right? So that's number 1. Now we're going to go with the First Labor Government, which is 2. The Rantan Alliance, which is 3. Okay, so now we're at 3. We need to decide what we're going to do here. We can either get the population, which is better if you have a lot of divisions. Like by a lot, I mean like 6 to 8. Or you want factories. So for this example, we're going to choose Social Security Act. Okay, so that's going to put us at 4. Okay, then we use the Manpower Act, which is going to put us at 5. Okay, so now it's the year 1940. We again have a choice here. Do we take the more research, the building slots to get more production of equipment, or do you need more manpower? If you're doing light infantry, you're going to need the tribunal. If you're doing like specific tanks or Amtracs, you're going to need the building slots. But for this one, we're going to take the tribunal. So that's 1, the Maori Volunteers, which is 2, and then strengthen the Commonwealth, 3, and then come over here, get the oil, 4, and then at this point, you take the Maori Act, 5. Okay? Now it's the year 1941. What do we do in the year 1941? Well, it's very simple. We basically take a focus here, okay? And it's whatever focus you're going to need. Now, the problem is there's nothing here that's really going to help you get more divisions or produce any more factory output, but tech sharing is nice. And then you can increase your autonomy if you really, really wanted to. But other than that, you don't need any of these focuses here, and these focuses here are okay. If you can, if you want to do this, you can get 5% more, but that's so little for your population. I wouldn't even waste it. So that's completely up to you. And then none of these focuses down here are worth it at all. This one, maybe if you specifically want like 1 or 2 Marine divisions. Other than that, we're going to go on to just general production and building. Okay, so just a general outline of the Doctrine. So if you're going to go Amtracs, you need to go down Superior Firepower and go down Disperse Support and then Shock and Awe. If you're going to do tanks with SPGs, you need to do the exact same thing. So this line all the way down. If you're making infantry, like a few good divisions, again, follow the same formula. If you are making specifically tanks, go down Mobile Warfare, okay? And then your choice between mobile infantry and Blitzkrieg, I would go down Mobile Infantry and then Modern Blitzkrieg. For tanks, only if you're building tanks there. Your Academy Spirits, I'm going to be honest, haven't had time to really do a whole bunch there. It's up to you on what you want to do here. One of the things that is very good is Relief of Command. So what this does is, if you take it, basically what it allows you to do is take all these advisors for like 25, okay? That's one thing for democracies that they can use. Again, choose whatever you want here, and then choose whatever you want here. Doesn't super affect your things. More research needs to be done on exactly which one's the best over there. If you're going, you choose your military theorist, obviously, and you don't have any buffs for tanks here. So you don't have any buffs for Amtracs. The only thing you got for Amtracs going for you is you have an invader. He's useful along with some Marines and some infantry, maybe. Otherwise, if you're going to go with tanks, then go with him because he's got the highest stat. Other than that, basically, you need to go down Concentrated and down here on this left side to get Flexible if you are building one specific type of unit. What do I mean by that? I'm building Amphib Tractors here. You could insert tanks and build 8 and then build 18 of them, right? Make sure your dispersion is around 18 and 5. Because you're going to need to pay for the steel and the rubber to do this, okay? But more or less, it's to just produce one type of equipment, and then when you make your division, right? Let's just use this one example. You don't have any infantry equipment. You're not making any infantry equipment, or artillery, or support equipment. So you're going to need to get lend-lease from the USA or the UK or whoever's going to lend-lease you that equipment. And you need to straight just pump out tanks or Amtracs. If you're building infantry, you're going to need a whole bunch of equipment. Like these 4 will get you by for just light infantry. It's completely what you want to do there. So yeah, other than that, there's this one last option here. You can ask Australia for the islands. If it's a player, he's going to tell you no. If it's an AI, I don't know why you're playing on New Zealand. Yeah, like this one just told me to, yeah, no, they're good. So Australia will give you this, which is worthless, and Britain will give you something. Okay, it's fine. It doesn't really matter. They give you the South Island, right? Completely doesn't matter because in an MP game, they're not giving it to you anyway. So, all right, we're going to go to the conclusions and then we'll wrap this up. All right, so in conclusion, we're just going to wrap this up. New Zealand, you saw that 3 builds that were most commonly used in MP. In my opinion, the builds that are the best are the subs and the strategic bombers. They do inflict the most damage either to Japan or to Germany, respectively. Bombers, Germany, subs for Japan. The army build is okay. However, you just don't have the manpower and you're really limited on your factories, and it requires a lend-lease from the USA and Britain and Australia to go on perfect. If they mess up an order or they ignore you in an MP game, it's over. So yeah, if you're stuck with New Zealand, I kind of feel sorry for you, but just try and make the best of it with strap bombers or subs so you can have a good time there. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below if you think there's some other builds you could possibly do with New Zealand. Subscribe if you like these guides. I'll keep making more. I think the next one's going to be on Australia. So with that, have a nice day.